Hello everyone. I'm glad to be having an online class with you for 8 weeks. I'm Dr. Kim. I'm excited to get started and to support your learning this semester. You will find all course materials on Blackboard, and I will explain how assignment and the quizzes work shortly. If you have any questions or need help, please reach out. I'm looking forward to a great semester with you. Then let's start the first lecture of Module 1. I first started researching cannabis in 1987 while studying as a postdoctoral fellow at Indiana University. I did research cannabis plants in Dr. Paul Marburg's lab, which was the one of only two DEA permission to grow cannabis in the United States. I continued the research as a visiting scientist at Dr. Marburg's lab for 15 years more. After 30 years of teaching in South Korea as a professor of biology department, I came to CSU Pueblo for 6 years ago. And I've been researching and teaching cannabis ever since. Rather than talking about myself, I'd like to introduce the most respected scholar in cannabis science. He is the late Dr. Raphael Mashilam. He was a strong candidate for the Nobel Prize as the father of cannabis science. He first discovered THC and CBD, but sadly, he passed away in 2023. All right, let's look at the syllabus briefly. We will go over expectations, assignments, and the grading. It was difficult to find a textbook suitable for our class. Although this book does not cover everything, we intended to use it as a textbook. Next, let me explain your exams and assignments. The midterm exam will be held in week 4, and the final exam will take place in week 8. The midterm is worth 100 points, while the final is worth 200 points. There will be 3 quizzes and 8 discussions and 7 homework. So total point is 810 points. For other details, please refer to the Blackboard. The content of this lecture consists of 8 modules. Module 1 will be an introduction. Module 2 and 3 will cover the cannabis botany. And from the Module 4 to Module 8 will cover the cultivation and agriculture of cannabis. Today, as the first lecture, I will talk about cannabis origins and domestication. Since ancient times, cannabis has been extensively utilized by humans for a variety of uses. Cannabis has been an integral part of human life because its domestication continues into the present. As you can see here in the red circle, wild-type cannabis seeds are significantly smaller than domesticated seeds, visible on the left. Then let me ask you a very basic question. What is cannabis? Cannabis is a name of a genus belonging to the Cannabaceae. Cannabis plants synthesize and secrete unique substances called cannabinoids in their glandular trichomes. So these 3 terms, cannabis, cannabinoids, and glandular trichomes, are closely related to each other. If we go back in time, cannabis was one of the most important crops in 10,000 BC. We've known about the production of cannabis and the use of plants for fiber and for medicine. It was used as a significant raw materials source to produce rope, textiles, nets, paper, and oil products. Cannabis cultivation began around 10,000 BC, making it one of the earliest domesticated crops. It's thought to be originated in Central Asia, for example, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, and southern Siberia. From these areas, it has spread to the east and the west. From its origins, domesticated cannabis spread to China, Middle East, Eastern Europe, and India about 2000 to 8000 BC. From that point, it may have taken 1,000 years before cannabis made its way to Africa and Western Europe. It likely crossed the seas to South and Central America between the 17th and the 19th centuries before arriving in North America in the early 20th century. Many cannabis remains from around the world are analyzed to determine the years of cannabis use by archaeological markers such as CBN. This slide shows the history of cannabis product use chronologically. The pottery is the oldest hemp product, which had woven hemp coat pressed into it, and it dated at 6,200 to 4,000 BC, and the rope was dated 5,000 to 4,000 BC. Cannabis resin was used as a herbal remedy as early as 2,700 BC in China. Seeds were used as a food in 2,400 BC. Hemp clothing has been used around 600 BC. This Assyrian tree of life images shows the Quanabu cannabis in the center. The plant name cannabis is a Scythian word, Quanabu, which loaned into Persian as Kanab, then into Greek as cannabis, and subsequently into Latin as cannabis. Archaeological evidence for fiber cannabis goes back tens of thousands of years. Cannabis fiber was an important crop in ancient Egypt. Egyptians used cannabis fibers to produce rope and other textiles. This Egyptian carved relief shows us a cannabis leaf. Egyptian women used cannabis as a medication to relieve sorrow and bad humor. Ramses II was one of the most powerful pharaohs in ancient Egyptian history. He is known for an extraordinary number of temples and statues. His mummy was discovered in 1881, and the scientists examined his mummy. They found that the linen wrappings used on his mummy were coated in cannabis pollen, providing that the cannabis plant existed in Egypt at the time of his death. Cannabis remains were found inside a 2,000 600-year-old grave in southern Siberia. The Scythian burials are spread in modern China, Tajikistan, Siberia, and Afghanistan. CBN is used as an archaeological marker for cannabis remains because it's a chemically stable compound. I will talk about it later. Now, let's look at some examples of hemp use in modern times. Cannabis fibers have been used for similar purposes. In addition to the world's first Bible and the Declaration of Independence are also written on cannabis paper. They are well preserved after 500 to 250 years, respectively. The lignin content of cannabis fiber is only 4%, which is significantly lower than that of a general wood pulp, 30%. Cannabis fiber can significantly reduce the use of sulfurous acid to dissolve lignin by 85%. That is why cannabis paper can be preserved for a longer period. Most canvases are made with cannabis fiber because of its high strength. Cannabis is a genus name for cannabis plants, and the word canvas is derived from cannabis. These images are famous paintings by the Dutch artist Van Gogh and Rembrandt. Both painters used cannabis oil and cannabis canvas for their paintings. They are great masters of Western paintings, and their works of art are so highly valuable in world art history. After 2000, various types of hemp products have been produced. The stalk is used in textile, construction, and paper production. Cannabis seeds are used in the food, biofuel, and cosmetics industry, and the flowers and leaves are used to manufacture other pharmaceuticals. All right, let's stop here today. Thank you for your participation. Bye.